Hi guys, today I have a Sony Blu-ray player. I got given this by a friend a long time ago and I didn't really know what to do with it because I don't really watch DVDs or Blu-rays. It works perfectly fine. I finally found a purpose for it. So I've got a brother and my brother really likes watching DVDs and he goes to op shops, buys all sorts of DVDs and watches them. Some of those are from a different region code, however. So his old DVD player, you can do a little code on the remote and you can unlock it so he can watch his overseas DVDs. His old DVD player unfortunately went kaput, so I told him, hey, I've got this really nice Blu-ray player and you can have that if you want. He just mentioned, yeah, well, I don't know if I'd be able to play my overseas DVDs on that. So I told him, I'll look into that, I'll see if I can unlock it. Now, Sony's notoriously difficult to unlock. So I actually had to order a modchip. Yeah. So this is the modchip right here. I ordered this from Rattlebyte. I'll put a link in the description. And today we're going to be installing this and upgrading the firmware so that my brother can watch his collection of DVDs and can start watching Blu-rays as well. So first things first, we'll disassemble the case. And my apologies for the background noise. I am also 3D printing something in the background. Yeah, I had a bit of a injury a little while ago to my eye and I lost my lens, which has actually made this kind of work quite challenging as well. You don't realize how much you rely on depth perception until you don't have it for this kind of finer stuff, but I've gotten used to it. The brain is remarkably good at adapting. So what I'm printing is some glass, some frames that I've modified so that they can accommodate a lens from AliExpress. So I can see if I can kind of exercise the eye a little bit, get some vision in it, because without a lens it's just a blurry mess. Yeah, so if you're interested, it's a 12.5D lens and I can see relatively well through it. I can read the numbers on the test thingy and that, so that's good. Alright, so this is the main board that we're going to be soldering this modchip to. This is going to be quite a fine repair. It comes with an instruction manual as well on where to solder these bits and pieces to. So I think this here is the right orientation, and then I have this model here. So we have to remove this cable so we can solder point D to there. And I actually bought a breakout cable that comes with this. So here is a breakout cable rather than soldering to the pads on there. So that just plugs into there and then eventually that's going to get double-sided tape there. Nice and tidy. Alright, so first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out whether those pins are the same pin out as these pads over here, because it's rather important. Looks like they are, except for the 3V. So this first wire here, this white wire, the first pin on this connector, actually connects to J. So you know what I'll do? I will grab out a multimeter. That will give us more clarity. Because yeah, I really don't want to make this up. The chip's not actually that cheap. And it's a two-step process. First you have to install this mod chip. And after you install the mod chip, you have to update the firmware. So the firmware, you can get the link with the purchase. Yeah, let's have a look. Cool, so that should be connected to that white wire over there. Which is not. Oh wait, yeah, J. So pad J is connected to the white wire, so we need to figure out what the 3-volt wire is connected to. So I'm going to say it's probably connected to this red wire here. They've probably just gone for a little bit of a non-standard pinout, which isn't actually in that manual. Yeah, there we go. So that's 3-volt. And then I wonder if this one here is going to be ground. So that would be quite neat. Ah! Fiddly wires. Okay, so is that ground? No, it is not. So we still have to work out which one's ground. Would it be the black wire, perhaps? That would make sense, wouldn't it? It is. Okay, so red and black, a positive and negative. And I think what we could actually do is we could just kind of go as we go with the manual here. So on our manual we have only 4 signal wires, A, B, C, D, and then 3-volt and ground. So we can quite easily just get into that now, and we'll solder up the positive and negative. Ha! You know what I'm actually doing wrong here? This is terrible practice. I'm meant to be wearing an electrostatic because this does come with a manual, with a warning in the manual that it is sensitive to static electricity. So I hope I haven't already done any damage. I do always take care to grab circuit boards by the edges. And this is an anti-static mat, but a little bracelet will help. Personally, I have never damaged anything with static electricity. I think I'm just a low static person. But you should try and always earth yourself when you're working on delicate stuff like this. Alright. Actually, I'm just going to Alright, so our first 2 connections is going... Oh, hang on. You know what? I shall zoom in. There you go. Our first connections are going to be 3-volt right there and ground right there. So I'm just going to clean the tip off. This is quite fine soldering. I don't know if the video does it justice, but this is tiny. I'm going to put a little bit of flux. And the wires come pre-tinned, which is rather lovely. I might chop that a little bit shorter. Oh, this is like really stubborn solder. I don't think it's got any lead in it. So I'm going to try and melt that first. Alright, my apologies. You can see it's now already soldered on. So what actually happened is my card on my camera got full. I thought I removed the old footage of it. I didn't. And I saw it a little bit too late. But what I did is I used my own tin to kind of blend it with the more difficult to solder tin that's on the board, which lowers the melting point. I think that the tin that they used on this would have been lead-free tin, which is a lot harder to melt or whatnot. So yeah, just blending it with a little bit of your own tin before you start trying to solder the wire on is a good way to make your life easy. And I've done the same for the neutral pad over there as well. So what I'll do now is I'll solder the neutral pad on. Lovely. Okay, now we'll identify the next ABCD. And for that we will need our voltmeter again. Let's see. Yeah, AB. We'll do AB first because they go right next to that ground prong right there. So, A. Let's see if it's these two that are in between the red and the black. It would make sense to me. Although, can I just see where they go? No. Ha! Alright, so that one's A. Blue is A. Green is B. Just as I thought. Great. Alright. A bit more flux on there and then we'll... So it'll be black, green, blue. Because on the drawing here, it is ground BA. So green is A, blue is B, black, blue, green. Okay, again we need to snip a little bit off that wire. Really lovely little harness they supply with it. Pre-tinned wires and everything. It's high quality kit. I'm quite impressed with this. So what you can see there is I accidentally touched the ground wire and desoldered it, which is fine. We'll just re-solder it back on. This is really fine soldering. Okay. Make sure that those two are not accidentally connecting now. So, those two. Nope, that's fine. Excellent. Well, that was me touching the prongs together. And now the green wire. Oh, another snip. Perfect. Do a little conductivity test. Green and blue should not be touching each other. Excellent. Right. Now we have two more wires. C and D. D goes to the second pin of this connector right here. And C is probably going to be the most difficult one. It is a blank pad right next to that capacitor right there. So yeah, that is that pad right there. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Especially with one eye. Alright, so I'm going to assume that it's going to be these two wires here. C and D. Orange being C, brown being D. Let's find out. Yep, orange is C. Brown is D. Remarkable. I'll just pre-snip these, especially C. C we want to be really short because C goes on that difficult pad. Mind you, the other one, nah, the other one is alright like that. Okay, so C is really short, C goes on there, a little bit of flux. Let's do the most difficult one first, eh? Sweet. And now we put some flux on this one right here. Blend that with a little bit of I think this might actually be better off if I solder it on there diagonally like that. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Right on. Okay, I'm going to do a quick verify, make sure I've got all of the pins alright, because the other day I blew up a LiDAR just by wiring TX and RX up the wrong way around. And I was really upset about that, because it was a $75 LiDAR and it was just a little hobby project. And it sucks when something like that happens, you know, like it's a waste of money, and it's not even the waste of money that's the worst part, it also kind of destroys your motivation. So measure twice, turn it on once. Alright, so we've got ground. That's our ground there. Yep. Then we've got B next to it. B. Huh. Look at that. See, it's a good thing we check. Black, green, blue. Not the other way around. Alright, let's check that again. Man, that's embarrassing. Alright, so we've already checked ground. Now let's check. That one there should be B. 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 Next one over should be A. A, correct. Well, we know that that's 3 volt, but let's check it. 3 volt. 3 volt. C. C. D. D. Now that's finished. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these spare wires that we don't need a little bit shorter, but not all the way off, because I don't know what this is. I don't know whether at some point in the future someone wants to use this for a different player that needs different wires, so I leave it on there and tape it off. Actually, I'll heat shrink it. It's an even better way of doing it. Fiddly. Alright. Oh. Fantastic. Alright, only thing left to do plug that back in and stick this over there with the double-sided tape I'm picking. Is that the nicest spot for it? I'm wondering, can I not? And then just stick it right there. Yeah. Alright. Here's a little bit of foam with our double-sided tape. I'm going to put a little bit of Captain tape around this so it doesn't accidentally short out. Okay, my Captain tape's a bit hard to cut with scissors. Maybe my scissors are just trash. So I'll do a bit of ninja with this blade here. At least I hope I am. Jeez, this stuff is unworkable. Is that scratch going to be enough for me to... No? This stuff's tough. There we go. Gorgeous. Alright, we'll try a different way. Because that's not a straight cut. Man, I didn't know that stuff was so difficult to work. Well, good enough. Like that. And like that. Now those contacts are protected and will not short out on the chassis. And I'm going to see if I can nudge this underneath here. Because that, I really like that. That's a good spot for it right there. Cool. Alright. And that should be the hardware part done of this repair. We will plonk the... me and my anti-static woes. We'll plonk this back on. And then we'll get to the next part, which is installing the aftermarket firmware. Now, cool. Alright, got my little test set up here. I said set up twice. This is my little portable screen. It's a handy little thing that I've ordered from China. It comes in quite handy because it folds up into like a thin little book and plugs into USB and it does full HD. So it's brilliant as a second display on a laptop as well. But for now, it's good for testing this unit. So we're going to turn it on. It's got fast power on enabled, so obviously it's going to turn on right away. We're going to go over to setup. Plugged in the USB stick with the driver update. Firmware update, my apologies. And we're going to go to software update. And we're going to go to update via USB memory. So yes, we want to update. And so what it says there is the unit will restart midway, but updating will automatically resume. Do not turn off the power or remove the USB memory stick during updates. So just let it do its thing until it's finished. You can see as well the power LED is flashing. I presume that means it's updating the firmware. Second time around after the reboot it's a lot slower, so I'm going to say the first time it just copies the firmware into RAM or ROM, flash memory, whatever it might copy it to. It's persistent after the reboot, and then after the reboot it actually applies the update. Cool. And that should have pretty much sorted it. What we're going to do now is look for a DVD that's not region 4 because I'm in New Zealand. This is a region 4 locked player. Let's see if it'll play something out of a different region. Alright, this was a lot more difficult than I thought. I didn't have an overseas DVD. So I went and bought one in the wild from the local op shop. And let's see what happens when we try and play it. This one's region 2. So the player is a region 4 player. It should be locked. It shouldn't play this. Let's see if it will play it. Excellent, so that's a good sign. I'm pretty sure our little mod chip install has been successful. And it appears to be playing the DVD. So I'm not going to play too much of this because I don't want to get copyright striked. Anywho, that's a success. Yeah, I bought another DVD first, this one, and it was NTSC 1. So I was like, oh, what a great test, you know, NTSC. It's not just a different region, it's also different standard, but this turns out to be a pirated disc. So I can't do anything with that. In the bin it goes. Yeah, so that's a successful mod chip conversion. If you've got any questions, leave a comment and I'll try to help you out. And yeah, link to the actual kit is in the description below. Thank you for watching.